indicate to the House, to people that might be even viewing or listening to what it is that he's saying, why it is he believes that when you have law enforcement officers and other experts that are coming forward saying that there is advantages and there is a need for S7, that there is a need for it, why it is that he and the NDP believe that there is no need for it because it walks on an individual's rights, when even we had the Supreme Court of Canada indicate that investigative hearings are in fact constitutional.
The honourable member for Timmins James Bay.
Well, Mr. Speaker, there's all kinds of tools you can put in a toolbox. You can get a screwdriver, you can put a big jackhammer. The question is, how do you use them? Now, obviously, I don't ever expect to see the Liberals in government again because they flip-flop and they misrepresent themselves to Canadians. They promised Canadians in 2001 when they brought these provisions in that they would sunset them because they recognized they were a fundamental threat. Now what we see, as soon as we got a Conservative majority, the Liberals get to hide behind them, run up the road with them and say, we want to suspend these fundamental civil liberties. They can howl all they want, Mr. Speaker, but that is the historical record. So they come out every few months and wrap themselves in the so-called charter. But they were the ones who brought in the provisions that had Mayor O'Rourke tortured. They did nothing to help him when he was over in Syria being tortured. They left him there because they thought these provisions were okay. So we have continued to stand up for the basic defense of civil liberties, and we will continue to stand up. If they want to vote with the Conservatives, it makes no difference to us. There's a reason they're the third party. There's a reason that that third party will stay the third party, Mr. Speaker. And
Questions and comments? Question come on time. The honourable member for York South Weston.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my friend from Timmins James Bay for putting this so plainly and bluntly in front of Canadians here today, that there is a party here that would like to defend the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, would like to defend Article 9, which says that everyone has the right not to be arbitrarily detained or imprisoned. This law changes that right for innocent people. Will no longer have the right to say that that charter will protect them. And this party defends the charter. The party to my right maybe put the charter in, but that was a different Trudeau and a different party. Would my friend like to comment?
The honourable member for Timmins James Bay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And again, I think, when Canadians look at these issues, they want clear choices. I might disagree with the Conservative Party on almost everything, although there's a few Bruins fans over there, I think. But I do recognize that they offer Canadians a clear choice. We, on the other hand, will stand for the rule of law. We will stand for the protection of basic rights because we believe that. The difference is the party over in the corner that's howling and screaming at the moon that brought zero amendments. And then they had the nerve today to stand up and say, oh, the Conservatives don't listen to us, we bring amendments. Well, how could they listen to you if you're not speaking? I mean, what an absolute waste. They get paid to read legislation that has profound effects for undermining the basic rights of the rule of law, and they go along with it, and then they stand up today, and all day they said, oh, you know what, those Conservatives have been mean to us, because what we really wanted to talk about was a motion to allow Conservative backbenchers to change their motions in the statements. Now, really, Mr. Speaker, with all the issues that are facing people in the world, in Canada today, you would think that the new leader from Papineau would have thought in his first opposition motion, the issues of democracy or the issues of accountability or pensions, he could have done that, but no. He thought political mischief with the Conservatives. Doesn't matter to me how the Conservatives decide to do their statements. That's their business. But do you really think anybody out there in the real world gives a monkey's rear end about how they debate statements in the House? And that's his first opposition day motion. That's his idea of defending the...
Order. Questions and comments? Question come on time. The Honourable Minister of State for Transportation. 1 minute and 1 minute answer.
Okay. Well, as we see the NDP continue with their hug a thug, kiss a terrorist approach, this is a very serious bill. And the member says the only thing that's separating Canada from a totalitarian state is this bill. That's what he said. I'm afraid this member does not understand Canada. He does not understand our freedoms, and he has done a disservice by putting down our nation as well as minimizing the suffering for those who do live in those types of nations. The member talks about civil rights. Why did he vote against the equal matrimonial rights last week? Look, the NDP talk a lot, but they do not do as they say.
Order. The honourable member for Timmins James Bay, you have a little less than a minute.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I won't stay very long on this hug-a-thug, talking down the nation. It's really unfortunate that that member can't even involve himself in a serious discussion without reverting to some University Conservative Party talking points. We're talking about the rule of law here. That's what we're talking about. He might think, well, I'll just get some quick notes from the 20-year-old runts up in the PMO and I'll look smart. But we're talking about a bill that the Globe and Mail said today was legislation that smacks of political opportunism and is unfortunately politicizing the Boston Marathon bombing. He needs to stop wrapping himself in the flag because I think it's affecting his thinking. We need to talk about what this issue is, which is the right of citizens to be free from arbitrary arrest in this country.
Resuming